My old Milwaukee, but still made in China heat gun finally kicked the bucket. So I don't really have time to mess around and try to repair it. We needed a heat gun right away. So I went ahead and took a look at what's available for heat guns on Amazon. And what I found that looked like the best option was this PRULDE Professional PLD2030 heat gun. And this one is cool because it's got a digital display on the back where digital controls. So it's got like airflow adjustments and temperature adjustments. So let's check it out, see what's inside of here. Looks like it comes with a bunch of different accessories, heat spreaders, even a spatula. A heat spreader with some openings on the bottom, so it's got a vent out the front and then vents out the bottom. So I guess if you want to aim the heat downwards at a work surface, like you're heating up paint or something like that, maybe like it would kind of preheat and then provide more heat here, so you can scrape there. It doesn't talk about this nozzle, so I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of this nozzle is. If anyone knows what this nozzle is for, then leave a comment down below. Really wide heat spreader. So it looks like it calls this a fishtail surface nozzle. It says drying, thawing, heat spread over a wide area. Looks like you can also use it to maybe for a glass protection nozzle, although that looks a little bit different. It looks like it's like this, but open more for protecting windows when stripping frames. Looks a little bit different, like it's just closed on one side and open on the other. Here is just a heat shield. This would probably be useful for doing like a heat shrink tubing, where you can put it in here and it kind of wraps the heat around it. You could bend it, it's flexible, you can bend it even more. So it says that this spoon reflector nozzle is what it calls this. It says it's for soldering pipes. I guess it'd be good for heat shrink tubing too. You wrap it around, that'd work well for that. A handle for some accessory. This is probably for this tool here. And this tool is called the scraper for stripping paint and varnish. So it's just a scraper, and it comes with these 2 extra accessories here, different scraper heads. And then just a nozzle to decrease the size of the airstream. This is the cone nozzle. Welding, shrink sleeving, heat concentrated over a small area. Let's see what else is in here. This is a much larger heat gun than the Milwaukee. Look at the size difference. It's like, whoa. Looks like it has a kind of like a vortex nozzle here. I guess there's a heat plate back there. Did this other one have it? Yeah, this other one had it too. But this looks like it creates like a vortex flow, versus this other one just had fins to the side. It's got a nice large grip. I have large, extra large hands, so if you had small hands, this would be pretty big to hold. You can hold it on with both hands if you need to, but that's a pretty big grip. It's got, looks like 2 main speed settings, but then it has controls for temperature up, temperature down. Looks like fan down and fan up. So it looks like you can control the fan speed also. Let's see how these fittings fit on here. Yep, that fits okay. That fits well, the reduction nozzle. That's a tight fit, but snug, but it goes on there. Oh, what is that? What happened there? Oh, what is that about? Huh. It allows you to look down in there. It's just how it's assembled. I don't know. And then this one. This one stretches out quite a bit there. That looks like it works. I recommend wearing gloves when you're putting these on because it's kind of a little bit of sharp edges that can cut you. So that's already scratched up the tip quite a bit, but I don't expect this to stay nice and beautiful forever. All right, let's plug it in and check out the settings. This is just going to be a preliminary review of this heat gun. What I do with videos like this is I actually use this stuff for a while and then update after a few months, a year, and let you know how well these things are still working and if anything's failed. I think that's the best kind of review, is how well does it work over time. So it looks like setting 1 on the handle just goes up to 120 F and 250 to 500 liters per minute. So the speed is adjustable, but the temperature is not. And that seems like a cooling off temperature, or just when you need just a low temperature to keep something warm. Then setting 2, you can go from 120 F to 1200 degrees F, which is very hot. And then you can control the airspeed too. So the first thing I'm going to show is the temperature at room temperature right now. This has not been turned on yet. 63. So we're going to turn this on. Setting 1. It shows 120 degrees F, and then the fan speed you can control. Yep, you can control the fan speed down, low, and you can turn it up high. It's pretty quiet. I'll have to do a temperature test in another video because I don't have my high temp thermometer right now, and this IR thermometer did not work to measure the temperature on the heat shields because the heat shields are reflective, and so the IR thermometer doesn't work well on those reflective surfaces. It just wasn't indicating properly. So let's just take a look at the settings. So 1 is basically just your cool down. It's really just a little bit above room temperature. It says 120, but it doesn't feel that warm. Maybe right at, yeah, it's pretty warm right now. On setting 2, the temperature starts off at 120 F, and it feels warm, but it's like basically your cool down temperature is all it is. So that's as high as you can go on setting 1. And then, but on setting 2, now you can control the temperature. Now you can start increasing the temperature, and this is the increased temperature setting here. And I would be interested in doing a temperature check to see how quickly it increases the temperature. But actually, it seems to follow on its own afterwards. So it actually has a thermostat inside to sense the temperature and make sure that it's set at the right temperature. It has a feedback loop, so it's not just an open loop control. So if you go back down to cool off, this is a cool setting, it goes down to 120, then you go back up, it remembers your temperature, which is cool. Even if you turn it off, and then you go back, you go straight to it, it remembers your temperature. So here it shows how it did cool off, and so the thermostat is bringing it back up. Now, that wasn't that hot, but like anytime it's really hot, you should let it cool off first before you turn it off. Okay, so it's set to 200. It's going to bring it back up. Now let's go. Let's increase it up even more. There, you see it increasing 520. It's pretty hot, far out. Yep, definitely a lot of heat coming out. And let's go. Let's max it out. If you push and hold, it'll just go all the way up. 1200. So now it's going to ramp up. Takes a little time to get up there at the end because it's pretty hot temperature. Very hot. I doubt I'll use it on max like that most of the time, but 1100. So it takes a little bit of time to reach the max temperature it's capable of, but to reach 1,000 degrees, it happened pretty quick. Okay, so let's go back down, say like 800. There we see a drop. It drops pretty rapidly. And then if we're just gonna turn it off, we turn it back down to, whoops. I meant to turn it back down to just cool. There we go. Turn it back down to cool. And is it gonna say anything or just gonna say 120? And I mean, it's cooling off pretty rapidly. So it does have this surface on the back that's wide and acts like a tripod here, so you can just set it down like this upright to let it cool off. Or if you're doing work where you need to be hands-free, but you gotta be careful because it's not that tipsy. The cord is pretty stiff, so the cord could twist it one side or the other. Okay, so now it's cooled off enough that we can turn it off. There we go. I'm pretty satisfied with the initial setup of this and how it works. I like it. It's a lot better than my old heat gun in terms of the settings. I didn't even know what temperature it was in the old one. All right, if this video brought any value to you, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. I'm gonna make some updates in the future as to how this is holding up and if it's worth it over time. Thanks, and see you in the next one.